Hi everybody, this is your daily tarot reading for Wednesday the 23rd of August. Thank you for joining me. This is another amazing deck that I got at Labyrinth Books. If you're visiting Glastonbury, go visit this bookstore, it's the best. And this I think was the really expensive one, and I really like Shakespeare. My favorite Shakespeare quote has always been, "Sharper than a serpent's tooth is a thankless child." I've always really loved that. And Shakespeare obviously had the most amazing way with words. So let's have a look at these cards and see what they have to say. And in this deck, I was having a look at it before, they've also made changes to the minor arcana. So the major arcana are 21st cards. You've got the Fool and Death and Lovers and things like that. And then the minor arcana, they're split into 4 suits. Usually you've got Swords and Cups and Pentacles and Wands. And in this deck, they've got Swords, but they've changed the Pentacles to Crowns, the Cups to Orbs, and the Wands to Scepters. So a lot of people tend to do this, and it's just, if you're reading and using different decks, you just have to kind of stay on your toes a little bit so that you don't, make mistakes in terms of seeing which suit is what. So these are much smaller than the cards I've been using, as you can see. So let's have a look at what we've got. And we've got little Shakespearean quotes as well, which is cool. Okay, so first of all, we have the 5 of Swords, then we have the Queen of Orbs in reverse, and we have the 6 of Crowns in reverse. So first of all, the 5 of Swords. 5 of Swords usually represents trivial conflict. And it says, "You must not dare for shame to talk of mercy." You must not dare for shame to talk of mercy. So Henry V wasn't particularly merciful, and that's probably why there are so many unhappy people and conflict, because if you can't even dare, I mean, I might be misinterpreting this, I'm sorry, but the way I read this is, if you can't even dare to talk of mercy because there's shame in being merciful, then of course you're going to have conflict, correct? So what we're talking about here is, if you have an attitude like that, if you go into the day with an attitude like that, then you're going to get something like that back, okay? If you have this relentless, unbending, inflexible, rigid kind of worldview, and you go out into the day and you expect everyone to follow your worldview, and you think that you're right and everyone else is wrong, of course you're going to have trivial conflict. So there's the potential for conflict on this day if you're too stubborn, if you're too kind of pig-headed in a sense, and if you think you have all the answers. The next card is the Queen of Orbs, the Queen of Cups, and it's beautifully drawn. "I am a spirit of no common rate, a midsummer night's dream." No, the Queen of Cups is not just some common queen. She's the Queen of Orbs. She's magical, and she's the master of the element of water. And water is intuition and magic and imagination and love and adaptability and going with the flow and uncovering hidden secrets and being able to face those secrets and to keep your heart open and to be loving. She's ultimately what we're all aiming for to become, to get away from the grimness of earthly life and money and bills and drink and sex, and to ascend to something much higher, which is a spirit of love and truth. It's in reverse. Unfortunately, we're not quite there yet. So we're much more on this day, unfortunately, aligned with earthly concerns and getting our will done. So there's a lot of potential for the ego to pop up today, and for you to just say, "I want things the way I want them when I want." And you're not in that kind of spiritual place. Final card, the 6 of Crowns. 6 of Crowns is usually an opportunity, have and have not. "Crowns in my purse have I, the taming of the shrew." So there's abundance here. Because it's in reverse, there's no abundance, and that may cause extra pressure. And because the talk may be about money, you may feel justified in being really hard and saying money is money, facts are facts, I want the money that I have, I am not going to listen to my own beliefs or my own values. What's really important is that what's mine is mine and that I get what I want. Now, if everyone on planet Earth had that attitude, we'd all be at each other's throats non-stop all the time. So the message for today is be careful. You've got the potential to really just be in your ego and to want what you want when you want it without consideration for anybody else. You're in king or queen mode, okay? Deserving, entitled. If you change that around a little bit, you're going to have far less conflict in this day. You'll be able to progress spiritually and reach these higher planes because you haven't got hooked into the anger, you haven't got hooked into the greed and the fear. So because you haven't been hooked, you're now making spiritual progress. You're becoming more like the Queen of Orbs. And because you're becoming more like the Queen of Orbs, you create more opportunities for good things in your life. If you're a wonderful, loving, kind, generous person, you will get that back most of the time. You will create opportunities for more love and generosity and kindness. But when this is like an evil king, then everyone's unhappy, you're not developing, the people around you are unhappy, and there's violence and conflict and, it's awful. So don't be Henry V today. Be flexible, be forgiving. Remember the fact that you're a spiritual being having a human experience, not the other way around. And if there are money fears or money worries today, take a deep breath and hand it over. You will be taken care of. The universe is not going to let you starve or be destitute, so never fear that. Have faith that you will be taken care of, and you will be. The only way to sabotage yourself today is to go into Henry V mode. So we're not doing that. 5 and a court card that's 1, so 5 and 1 is 6. And then another 6 is 12. 1 and 2 is 3, and 3 is about new beginnings and starting over. And this week has been all about being independent, being a leader, looking at what your own freedom is, deciding what that is, and moving towards it. So another new beginning. You've taken several steps forward over the last couple of days. You may take a step back today if you slip up and go into ego mode. We all have an ego. We all slip into our egos sometimes. But the key is to say, oh, I'm in my ego. Let's come out of it. Because you can always stop it. You don't have to say, oh, I started in my ego. I now have to see this through and make sure that I fire everyone around me. You don't have to see anything through. You've got the choice. You make the decisions you want. You can do whatever you like. Have a wonderful day. If you'd like a private reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. I use astrology and tarot and numerology in my reading, so I get a nice overview of everything. It's a blueprint of your soul. I look at your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth to draw up your birth chart. If you don't have the time, I can use sunrise or work it out by a process called chart rectification. And that shows me what your life purpose is, what your vocational aptitudes are, what your strengths and weaknesses are, what needs to be transformed. I can have a look at what's coming up for you in future, in your love life, in your financial life, in your career, with family, health, anything at all. So if you'd like a reading, then visit the website. Please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.